Hey guys! Hey everybody, it's me, Zach. This is Judy. Welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to talk about the latest Amy Slayton, Tammy Slayton, 1,000 Pound Sisters TLC show, drama, everything, recap, review, my honest reaction. But before we get to that, we've got to talk about the elephant in the room. And by the elephant in the room, I mean the elephant on my forehead. Y'all, welcome to Zach's life where I am clumsy and a mess and it's winter in Chicago and I fell and I hit my head. Hi, how you doing? So I just want to get that out of the way because I know there's gonna be like hundreds of comments and I can't do nothing about her. I tried to put a hat on, you could still see it. I don't have makeup to cover it up with because that's not my gig. I tried a lot of things and you're just gonna get 100% results of clumsy me right here, right now in the flesh. So I just want to get that out of the way. We can put it all out there. The other thing is I just want to say again, like I feel like I say a lot on my channel, but thank you so much for being patient and waiting for me to put out content and things like that. This week back, or this last week, was my first full week back to work. I work at a college and university, as a lot of you know, and so we came back and I had to do a whole lot of stuff to get ready for the new semester. So I just haven't had the same amount of time to really devote to being on YouTube and things like that. But y'all are so great and y'all always wait for my content whenever I can give it to you. So thank you so much. I appreciate that support a whole lot. Actually, probably more than you know. So thank you so much. Before we get into like the drama of the channel, of the episode, the new episode, I did want to cover some just like general Slayton news. If y'all don't follow them on their social media, they have actually surprisingly been posting a lot about their weight loss, which to me seems like not something that the producers would want them to do, but they're doing it anyways. So they both have posted side-by-side pictures of themselves on Instagram. I think Tammy also posted one on her community tab on YouTube. And I just want your thoughts down below. Like, does it look like folks have lost weight? Do you think that they've lost weight? For me, I think the most obvious change is clearly Amy like looks like a whole different person, and I love that for her, honestly. Like, wow, amazing. Like, truly. And I'm not saying that to be like facetious or anything. Like, I think it's so clear that she's put in a lot of hard work, and I hope that that means that at the end of the show she gets access to surgery or whatever it is she needs, and that she can maintain that. I think Tammy, honestly, I've said this in other videos and on social media and stuff before, but I think Tammy has lost some weight. Like, I think you can tell. I just wonder if it's enough, you know what I'm saying? Especially because, like I said in my last recap video, she was also just in a video talking about like eating peanut butter and jelly graham cracker sandwiches. Wow, that was hard for me to get out. And so I'm just like, she can't probably truly be doing like 100% of whatever the diet that she's supposed to be doing is. So I have a lot of questions, but I do think you can tell that there's been some change in her face. I definitely think she looks different than what she looks like in the like current episodes. I don't know, maybe that's like a change in her hairstyle or something too, but personally I think there's been some kind of progress showing. Now the other thing I wanted to cover was one of Amy's most recent videos that she posted on YouTube, because she covered some tea, which I also thought was fascinating. Like, I feel like they're both talking about this show more on social media than we've seen some people. Now, granted, a lot of the like people in my 600 pound life don't have a social media following and things like that. But I can even remember my friend Willo Davis here did an interview with Justin Assanti, Stephen Assanti's brother, and Justin couldn't even like show his face on camera because he was like under some kind of like contract with TLC to like not post on social media and things like that because they didn't want people to know if they were successful or not. So I can see that. I think maybe, you know, Amy and Tammy went into this saying like, this is our full-time jobs, you gotta let us do this, like there's gotta be some give and take because this is how we pay the bills. And so maybe they came to some kind of agreement, and if that's the case, like, work. Like, way to get your coins still and whatever coins you're gonna get from the show. And I also don't even think it's that big of a deal because I'm honestly like, I do still want to keep watching and see like how Amy does it. I want to see what happens, and I'm entertained either way, whether or not I know if they lose the weight or not. Like, I will say after episode 2, and we'll get into that more, but after episode 2, I'm like, this is a funny show. This is a good show. I'm invested. And I think I would probably be invested even if I didn't know who Amy and Tammy were before, because the editing and everything on the show just makes it so fun. Like, the people at TLC, they know what they're doing. They surely do. But like I said, I want to talk about this video from Amy. So in this video, Amy addresses Mama Slayton. And I think Mama Slayton honestly got a whole lot of pushback from people on the show, or from people watching the show, because clearly Mama Slayton was not having it. Here are some of the things that Amy had to say.
Most of y'all know, like, how hard my mom had it, like, or we had it growing up, and most of y'all were having a little problem with our mom. With that being said, it wasn't really, like, Mom worked hard to provide for us, and yeah, I mean, the reason why she's in a wheelchair is because she had knee replacement surgery 3 times, and you know, she worked her butt off. She's had seizures, she's had strokes, and it was just a rough time for her. So that's why she was in the wheelchair. Second, the reason why she was like, don't really believe us, in a sense, is she made it clear that she thought we wasn't going to succeed, and think about it like this. Somebody keeps telling you that they're going to do something over and over and over and over and again. Like the little boy who cried wolf. Okay? But we're the little girls who cried, I'm going to get skinny. So, would you, after a while, believe anything that they say? Or would you not believe them? So I think that, yeah, we had a hard life, but it's made us who we are today, though. And our moms had a hard life. Would you believe them? You know, you said over and over and over again that you're gonna lose this weight. You know, you did lose weight, and then boom, you're way more than what you did. And I don't blame my mom for not believing in us. After a while, you just gotta stop believing, stop putting your faith into people who are just gonna do pretty much the same thing over and over again.
She said that her mom had always worked hard, has had multiple different surgeries for her own health problems. She gives a lot of reasons for why Mama Slayton has reasons to believe that they wouldn't succeed. She phrases it like, would you believe us if you knew that we had continuously tried and tried and tried and tried and tried and tried to do something over and over again and we never did? So she also makes a point to say, like, you know, Tammy and I have had a hard life, but our mom has had a hard one too. And she doesn't blame her mom for not believing in her. I get all of that. I get being skeptical. I mean, y'all know that I'm on here skeptical of people like Amber Lynn all the time, of Chantal. That makes sense. I get that. I also think, though, that there was just like no friendliness whatsoever. It's one thing to be skeptical that somebody's not gonna be successful, right? Like, this woman had no time for her own children, like, didn't say hi to them, didn't greet them, wasn't excited to see them. And I think that that's what people are picking up on, because I think a lot of us can relate to being skeptical of people who say that they're going to do something and don't over and over and over again. But what is harder for us to connect with and harder for us to empathize with is like a mom who has no maternal care or instincts for her children. Not even like the like, hi, I'm just happy to see you because you're my children. Like, she looked so annoyed that she even had to be doing it to begin with. And I think that that's what people were picking up on. I don't know that I disagree that like Mama Slayton didn't have the right to be skeptical, but I think honestly this family struggles a lot from like not being able to communicate from each other, and as their mom, like probably should have to take some level of responsibility for, you know, the behaviors that they have today. That's not to say they have everything. I mean, I think they're both 32, 33, somewhere. Like, they're only a couple years older than me. And obviously, I've done a lot in my life post living with my parents and my family, and I've learned a lot since then. But with that being said, like, my parents were the reason that I got to where I am today anyways, right? So, like, there's some level of accountability that you have to take over your children. The least you can do is be, like, happy to see them when they show up to a restaurant with cameras and things like that. I don't know. I still stand by, like, Mama Slayton seems sketchy. So I do want to just then now jump into this lovely episode 2. The whole part of episode 2 was based on a trip to Atlanta, where the primary goal was going to be that they saw Dr. McHottie, Dr. Charles Proctor, I think that's his name, I don't know. I'm gonna call him Dr. Hottie because I'm like, wow, he's a catch. He's got that like silver fox thing going on. Like, he's a cutie. He's a cutie and a doctor. Okay, all right. So that was their whole trip, but you know, they were gonna make the most of that and capitalize on it. And so during the episode, they also had a meet and greet, which was what tipped a lot of people off that they were even going to be in the show. I think the YouTube Underground covered it way back when it happened. If I can find Yaba's video, I'll link it down below so you can go check that out. But there are lots of folks that were like, something's going on, that these girls traveled all the way to Atlanta and they're having a whole meet and greet. And then I think somebody actually went to the meet and greet and like leaked information about there being cameras and a production crew and everything set up there as well. So we're gonna get into the details of all of that. We're gonna go step by step through what happened in the episode. That starts with them getting ready to make the trip. Tammy and Amy are out in the van. Tammy's like practicing getting into the van, as we've now seen her do several times. Like, I'm feeling better about her being able to do this. This show has really emphasized that homegirl hasn't been out of the house in like 6 years, but I think it's clear now that she's out and she's about, okay? So they're out there and Amy's giving her a hard time and Tammy is snapping. And then we get this confessional and Tammy's like, I know that I am quick to snap at my sister because I am in pain and I cannot breathe. And so I know I'm sometimes quick to snap, which is true. I mean, these are things that we have seen of Tammy on her channel time and time again, and a lot of people have criticized her for. I don't think that, again, I'm not excusing that behavior, but I think like this show helps us understand that like there are many competing factors for why Tammy might be behaving this way. Again, I think Amy is being portrayed as like actually really just trying to be helpful, and Tammy's looking impatient and a little rude. So they do briefly talk and film a little like promo for their meet and greet, and they talk about it, and Amy's already setting it up, and I think some of this is editing too, right? Because like I think what the producers want to like try to get people thinking about is how like nobody's gonna show up, because like who's actually heard of Amy and Tammy Slayton outside of this like small niche community on YouTube. And so they're trying to set it up like, oh my gosh, nobody's actually gonna come to this. And Amy even says like, and I thought this was so funny, she's like, well, I know we might not have a lot of fans in Georgia because, you know, a lot of our fans are overseas. And I'm like, overseas who? Overseas where? I would love to see your YouTube demographics. Because even for me, like, I do have overseas people watching me, but like, a majority of people watching me are in America. So I was like, girl, this is just an excuse. This is you setting yourself up to say, listen, if nobody comes, it's because I'm an international star, I'm an international celebrity, and my fans can't afford to travel overseas to see me. So they go and have one last supper before they make this trip to Atlanta. And let me just say, y'all know how I feel about this. I literally just went on a rant about this with Chantal and some other people just the other day, is that there is no need to have a last supper. It's like, y'all know you're about to go on this journey, and y'all, there's either you start today or you start never. Like, this whole like idea that like I'm gonna start tomorrow, blah 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 blah. So they say we're gonna have this one last supper. They go to this like rickety old like BFE Kentucky country buffet, and they just load up over and over and over and over again on fried chicken, mashed potatoes, different types of like weird pasta salads. I was like, this is a lot. It was a lot of beige on their plates, and they were just going at it. And I hate the concept of like, I have to have this like one last meal. I have to do this. Like, no, you don't. Nobody has to do that. I know part of that probably set up by TLC. They probably, you know, I've seen other folks on like My 600 Pound Life do that and stuff, but I just feel like that sells such like a horrible idea of how we should be handling our eating disorders, and that is disordered eating. It is disordered eating to say like, I have to have one last binge. It's probably true of other people that are not recording themselves on TV, but I just wish people would stop thinking that. Like, I just gotta get my last binge. I just gotta get my last fix, because it's really disordered behavior. While they're there, they have quite the conversation about their hotel stay once they get to Atlanta. And Tammy literally says that she wants her own hotel room because she doesn't want to hear the gorillas. I'm sorry, who? I'm sorry, what? Like, y'all, if I have to think about it, y'all have to think about it. So just imagine Michael and Amy in a hotel room together. Just imagine. Then Amy, though, has the nerve to say, well, you still might hear it. You still might. Like, to be quite honest with you, I don't like to think about a lot of people engaging in intercourse. It's not my preferred. I don't like to think about gorillas like that. I like to think about my gorillas as like majestic animals that live in the jungle. I'm not trying to, no. These were not the visuals I was looking for, but I did laugh. I did. I won't lie about it. I laughed. So then they also have this whole conversation that leads into a fight, which there's lots of Amy and Tammy fighting in this episode, which, y'all, I truly live for. I love a fight. I love a reality TV fight. And there's lots of fighting, but it's the one at the buffet starts with Tammy talking about how uncomfortable she feels because she feels like people are looking at them, and Amy says, oh my gosh, I know how you feel. Like, I feel like folks are looking at me too. And Tammy says, you could never understand. And I'm like, first of all, one, like, yes, there probably are some people looking at y'all because you're overweight. Like, I do believe that happens to folks who are severely overweight in public. However, they cut in all of these shots of people like looking at the camera. Like, you don't know where those people were actually looking. It's very well they probably were looking at the cameras because we're in the middle of BFE Kentucky. It's probably not every day that there's like a production crew set up in a little old mom and pop country buffet diner type of place, right? So also maybe folks are looking at you because there's a whole production crew set up. Maybe that, but Tammy, and she does this is a theme throughout the episode, talks a lot about how Amy doesn't understand her, could never understand her. And certainly I do think that there are things that Tammy has probably experienced that Amy couldn't understand. Like, Amy clearly still has like a high level of mobility. Amy clearly is still going out and about into this town and going places in public where Tammy is not doing that as often. And it's probably a little bit harder for Amy to relate to that. But ultimately, like, a lot of their life experiences are not that different. So, like, Tammy girl, Tammy, you need to lean on Amy and like accept her support and accept that, like, yes, there are things that she can relate to, and it might be good for you all to talk about that and understand that. It doesn't have to be all about you. And no, not everything is going to be exactly the same, but if there's anybody on this planet that knows what you're going through, probably the best, it's Amy, right? Like, Amy grew up with you. She had the same family experiences as you. She's also overweight. Y'all also eat a lot alike. Like, if anybody's gonna get it, it's her. So you should just lean into that and like let it happen. Now, if she's being dismissive of how you're feeling, that's a different story. But she's literally just trying to say like, hey, girl, I got you. I understand. So the next day, they get up to get into the van, and before they even leave, Tammy's freaking out because she's like, oh my gosh, I don't feel good. I got this stomach problem. It hurts. They ultimately end up blaming it on all the food they ate the night before, which, like, no shit, Sherlock. No shit. Like, are you kidding me? Y'all ate like 3 plates full of mashed taters and fried chicken, girl. Yeah, your stomach is probably upset and queasy. But have no worries, because the second they get going in the car, they pull out the snacks. They say, we're hungry. We need snacks, after they just got done talking about how upset their stomachs were. Because Amy also said, yeah, I kind of thought about it. My stomach was pretty queasy too. But that did not stop them from getting snacks out, which, like, girl, live your truth. I love a road trip. I love a road trip snack. But I just thought, like, the editing of that was, like, real shady. Real shady, TLC. So, of course, then they also stopped for barbecue. They made a joke about Amy demolishing a sandwich in almost one bite. That was a lot. At one point, girl, the whole ride, the way it was edited just cracked me up. There was one point where they got Amy snoozing. She's just snoozing in the front seat. Tammy's maybe going in and out of sleep. And Michael's driving and he almost crashes. Almost crashes. Everybody freaks out. Well, I think Amy might sleep through it, but Tammy's freaking out in the back. She's cursing. And then Michael's just like, well, just another day. And I'm just like, what a wild cartoon van full of clowns. Like, this is too much. Like, what is going on? And literally, Amy, I think, sleeps through it all. So after Michael almost crashes, then they make a stop at Wendy's, then they get back in the car, and then they're about an hour out from Atlanta, and sis, ma'am, Tammy has pain in her knee. She has a whole pain in her knee. And so she says, we gotta stop. I can't keep going. And so they stop, and Michael's like, all right, we're gonna rearrange some stuff, because I guess like her knee was like wedged up against the door or something. She was like also leaning next to a beanbag chair and a whole like thing of luggage. And so they moved the luggage, and she literally like lays down like this, and her head's up against the like door of the van, and she bumps her head when they take off. She's gonna have a little sore like me. We're gonna be little buddies, little forehead sore buddies. That does it for her. And they get to the hotel. They make a whole lot of jokes about hoes and tells and hoes telling things. And I'm just like, y'all are literally too much. Like, the Slayton sisters are a hoot and a half, truly. So they get to the hotel, and Amy does a hotel tour room. Now, here's also where the folks at TLC are weird, and I guess maybe just in their choice of editing. I went and tried to find, so they showed this hotel tour room as like, or this hotel room tour as a YouTube video, like they edited it to look like her YouTube video. And Amy does have a hotel room tour. Why is that so hard for me to say? On her channel called Hotel Room Tour in Atlanta, Georgia, that was published on May 10th. And it has currently, as we speak, about 16,000 views. It has 307 likes and 212 dislikes. Now, the way that they showed it on TLC was real misleading. They're out here trying to make it look like more people like the Slaytons than they actually do. Because the video that they showed allegedly has 19,682 views and 7.9 thousand likes and only 360 dislikes. On top of that, the channel is called Amy and Tammy Slayton. Now, why they couldn't negotiate to get their actual YouTube channel names like published here, or maybe there's some rule with YouTube, I don't know, but like, if people are really gonna be looking for them, they're not gonna find this. Amy and Tammy Slayton is not a channel. That's neither of their channels. There's either Amy Slayton Halterman, the channel, or there is the Tammy Slayton channel. This one that they got on here does not exist. It also says there's 449 comments. The actual video only has 316 comments. So it's just like, I see you, TLC. So the other ridiculous thing that happens in the hotel room is that Tammy does stay in a separate hotel room, but Amy feels really scared that she's like in there by herself, so they brought a whole ass baby monitor to put in Tammy's room so that Amy and Michael could keep an eye on her. And like, I feel like this is equally ridiculous and also like super sweet. I don't know, maybe it's not sweet, like maybe that's not a cute thing, but like I thought it was kind of like a sweet gesture, but also real ridiculous and crazy. But I guess like if you're really genuinely concerned about her well-being, I mean, they showed her like with all of her CPAP and stuff hooked up, and she looked real uncomfortable in bed. And so, you know, maybe it was a good thing. I was just like really surprised by it. And I also thought it was sweet. Like, again, I think they're really painting Amy to be this like caring, loving sister, and Tammy to just be this like unappreciative, short-tempered sister. So they go to meet with Dr. Hottie. They both reweigh in. Amy is at 400.2 pounds, which means that whatever period of time passed between the junkyard and Dr. Hottie's office, she lost 6 pounds. And Tammy is weighing in at 608.2, which is 3 pounds more than what she weighed at the junkyard. And she's like, well, I thought that junkyard scale was wrong, but I guess it was right. And y'all, I got so many comments about that damn junkyard scale and why the state might be making sure it's accurate. So I apologize that I'm not the leading junkyard scale expert, but thank y'all for letting me know that there are several reasons why the state government might be coming in and like checking and making sure that the scales are working. So Amy cracks me up because she's like, my first impression of Dr. Hottie was cold hands. I'm like, y'all didn't notice his striking face, his beautiful beard? None of that, it was his cold hands? Okay, all right, I was noticing a whole lot more, but you know, I wasn't in person meeting him like you were, so maybe those cold hands were just, you know, too much to handle. So again, they have this whole conversation about who's the most unhealthy. Dr. Hottie is like, yeah, maybe neither of you should be worrying about who's more unhealthy and just focus on the fact that you both are unhealthy. But they're fighting about it. You can see that there's tension, this tension that's going on between them. Now, this might be news for people who have never watched them before, but I think we all know that they fight and bicker a lot, which I've always appreciated as part of the appeal of their channel, but this might be new to some folks who have never seen them before. So they're fighting and bickering about who's more unhealthy, and it's just kind of ridiculous because like they both just got done with this laundry list of illnesses that they were facing, and it's like, girl, y'all have both been able to identify many health issues that you have outside of your weight. Like, I don't know that either of you are healthy. So basically, Dr. Hottie gives them both weight loss goals. He asks Amy to lose about 25 pounds before the next time he meets with them, and Tammy to lose about 60. He also has them go meet with a dietitian who we meet later in the episode. So after they get done meeting with him, they go and do their meet and greet, the infamous meet and greet. So I just want to point out some of my favorite parts about the meet and greet. In particular, this wasn't really related to the meet and greet, but the confessional little shot that they had about like 33 minutes into it, they're sitting there talking about how excited they are about their meet and greet, and the whole time Amy has some holes in her pants. And it's a whole lot because it's like all I could focus on. They also show like them getting ready. There's like confetti and banners made, and they also had headshots. And by headshots, I mean selfies of themselves from Snapchat with filters on it, which like, actually, honestly, I wouldn't want it any other way. Like, that is every single like photo they post on the internet anyway, so like who wouldn't want a signed Slayton sister Snapchat selfie, you know? So I was loving that. Tammy at one point mentions that she needs the support of fans and that she's really looking forward to people coming because she doesn't have like a lot of friends in real life. In fact, I think she says she has no friends in real life, and that she just really relies on friends online. And it kind of just like made me a little sad. Like, I have made a lot of great friends online. I know a lot of people via the internet, but like, if I didn't have actual real life tangible people that I could count on for support in my real life that I saw on a daily basis, I just imagine that would be real sad. And it makes me kind of like sad that that's where she's at in her life, and no wonder it's really hard to find motivation to take care of yourself when you don't have anybody else that's invested in you taking care of yourself. I know like some of the internet, it's like not popular to have sympathy for Tammy, but I personally do. I think it's sad that she feels like she doesn't have anybody in her real life, and I hope that, you know, as she gets healthy and takes care of herself, that she can find some folks who she can lean on in real life to support her. So they really built it up like, oh, nobody's coming, and then eventually two fans did come in. Their names were Shamim and Jasmine. They seemed like pretty run-of-the-mill fans, nothing too crazy with them. Then this girl Courtney comes in and she has some kind of nerve. I feel like she had to be trolling because she said that she loved Amy's makeup tutorials. Either trolling or somebody at TLC like told her that she had to say that. Because then TLC was out here with this shady editing, and it's like, oh, well, look at this candy corn makeup tutorial Amy posted right after Courtney girl says, oh, I love your makeup tutorials. Like, shady. So then there's this Pedro and Sylvia couple. I'm unclear if one or both of them watched them, but Pedro was cute as hell, like he could get it. And then comes Kathy, the super fan. Y'all, Kathy slayed me. What a woman. What an icon. What a legend. She said, it is Mother's Day and I'm dragging my son out here on Mother's Day. And he has no idea who these two women are, but I'm so excited to meet them. I am worried about their health, but I love them. I just think that they're so great. She loved the Chubby Bunny video, which I'm so glad we got to relive that on the TLC big screen. It was great. I loved Kathy. We stan. So overall, I thought the meet and greet was really sweet. Like, I know that a lot of the rumors on the internet were that a lot of people didn't show up to this, and that was quite the scandal, and people are like, oh my god, the Slaytons planned this. But I think, like, it was cute that the people that did show up showed up. I thought it was sweet, and I feel like it was encouraging to some extent to them. Even though I seem to recall Tammy being kind of upset about it on social media. I'll have to go see if I can dig up some of those receipts, because I feel like I remember Tammy posting like, I'm sad that this is how it turned out. I wish more people could have came, kind of a thing.
So today we had our meetup. It was great. No, there wasn't a big turnout. I don't think more than 10 people showed up, which is fine. You know, it was short notice. It is Mother's Day. I understand. But nonetheless, it was still great. And then another little fan brought us some road trip snacks. I love wasabi peas. They should give us a bag of wasabi peas and then some uts. Amy got Takis and Pringles.
So then they go and meet with this dietitian. Her name's Taylor. Ugh, bless her heart. She was so sweet, and I think she had no idea what she was getting into with these two women. But wow, they gave this grocery list of all the foods that they like to eat, and it was just so funny watching Taylor's face as they just kept going and kept listing more foods. Like I was laughing because she's poor Taylor, this little innocent baby girl was like, oh, they're really going there. And then they told her the fact about, or not the fact, it's not a fact, but that their mom always told them that a diet soda would cancel out any sugar they drank. Are you kidding me? So then, of course, though, Tammy has to come out here and be Tammy Lynn Medicine Woman. And she's out here trying to say, listen, Amy, I've told you that this is how we need to be eating. And Amy, rightfully so, is like, girl, then why are you skinny? if this is how we should be eating, why have you been doing it? Listen, Amy had zero time for her nonsense. But they talked, Taylor talked about how they needed to be cheerleaders for each other. And listen, y'all, I'm ready to cheer. I will be your cheerleaders, but y'all have to cheer for each other too, because I'm not here for I am kind of here for this bickering, but I'm not here for this bickering, okay? So I'm cheering you on. I truly believe y'all can do it. I'm ready to be your cheerleader. So then, of course, they get to the ride home, and wow, the ride home is just as eventful as the ride to Atlanta. They were already bickering at the second they got in because Tammy was doing her whole thing about like, listen, y'all knew you should have been eating that way. Y'all should have known. But it's okay because they did stop to get some Chick-fil-A and an extra large soda. They tried to eat healthy. They got like the grilled nuggets and a little salad. Like, I think that was a good choice for if you're gonna have to eat, well, outside of it being Chick-fil-A, because y'all know how they feel about us LGBTQ folks. But, you know, a good healthy option. But then our girl Amy was like, listen, I'm still gonna get this one soda a day. The dietitian said I could have one soda a day, so I'm gonna get it. And she got a huge, big gulp size of a soda. Which, like, Amy, live your truth. Find those loopholes. She didn't say how big it could be. But Amy and Tammy do keep fighting again. Tammy continues on with her, like, I'm a health expert nonsense. And Amy, it does seem like Amy's just trying to find what is gonna get Tammy the most upset. So Amy starts going in on Tammy for using a walker, and Tammy loses it. And I wish I could play the actual clips, but it might have to just suffice with me like reenacting it for y'all. But Tammy loses it. And eventually Amy and Michael are like, all right, we've had enough. So they just park and they get out of the car and they leave Tammy. They leave Tammy alone in the van because y'all know Tammy ain't going anywhere on her own. And they just say, we're going to let her cool off. And she just stays in the van and she keeps ranting. And I have to say, I just have a heart for Tammy. I know that there's people on the internet that don't feel similarly, but I just feel like she's never been taught how to appropriately communicate with people. I feel like people have never appropriately communicated with her. She doesn't know how to express her feelings properly, and I think it always comes out in this like rage. And so anyways, Tammy says, while by herself, she literally says, why don't my family love me more? And that made me sad because I do think at least Amy loves her and cares for her. I can even see the care and love that Michael has. Like, Michael is actually, the very few times he's talking on this show are times where he's being really supportive and telling them that they're doing a good job. And like, he, on the way there, kept telling Tammy like how proud he was of her to like make it as far as she did. I think that they do. I think that they honestly just don't know how to express these words to each other. You know what I'm saying? Like, I just don't think that anybody ever communicated love to them. Nobody ever communicated like healthy conflict resolution to them, and so they don't know how to do it, and this is how it comes out. Much like they never learned how to eat healthy, live a healthy lifestyle, Nobody taught them how to communicate healthy. Nobody taught them what healthy relationships look like. And so this is how it's manifesting when they do argue. So I think that they really probably just need to, you know, engage in some therapy, engage in like talking to each other, because those things don't get better unless you work on it and unless you have somebody who can help you identify the ways that things aren't working. So that's kind of all for that episode. I honestly was living for it. I was living for all the burps and farts. Like normally, y'all know I don't care for a burp or a fart. Like it really catches me off guard, but somehow the way that TLC edits things like cracked me up. So I'm living for it. I think they're funny. I would really like to see another season of this. I think the two of them together with the right production crew really are entertaining. And I would like to see how they keep this moving and keep this going. I think that they have some weird kind of star power that I want to see more of, like in this setting. Because obviously I can go watch the YouTube channels. That's not a problem. I can do that. But it's not as entertaining as them on the TV screen. That's just my thoughts. So I look forward to hearing what you all have to say about the episode down below. Did you love it? Did you enjoy it? What were your favorite parts? If this is one of your first videos, I'll leave a playlist of all the Slayton sister videos I've ever made, including the last recap that I did, down below. Please make sure to hit subscribe if you haven't already and click the bell button. I'm gonna be doing recaps of all episodes of 1,000 Pound Sisters. Also, please feel free to follow me on all my social media. I had a whole lot of fun with y'all today. I hope you did too, and I'll see you all next time. Bye!